Hambini fans, and welcome to another episode of Hambini Reams. In today's episode, we have something not bike related and it doesn't involve Latina ladies. We have my new scooter. So let's start off with this reaming. In case anyone is wondering why I got this particular scooter, let me enlighten you. So if we can get the car open, this is the scooter that would, I hope my number plate didn't come on show, fuck. Otherwise you might have absolute black round to stalk me. Oh no, they know where I live. Right, anyway, this is my new scooter and it is basically the biggest one that would fit in the back of my Honda Civic Type R. Along with the rest of my paraphernalia like my helmets, my shoes. In fact, here are my safety shoes that people are often envious of. Yes, Puma Kevlar sole no less, S3HRO, if anyone's interested. This is it, removed from my car. There's a very good reason why I use this, why I showed you in the back of the car. And that's because I tend to use this whenever I go somewhere. So they're not strictly legal in the UK, but you see loads of people on them. So for example, when I went to Screwfix, or bought something from the DIY shop Screwfix, I think it was probably one of my forks, maybe a spirit level, or one of my trolley jacks, I don't know. A guy turned up using this Sprint service, so you order the item and it rocks up, and it was on one of these, not the exact same one, but very similar. So in the Netherlands, which is one of the countries I frequently go to, these are kind of like banned. In Germany, provided you've got insurance, you can ride one of these. And then in Spain, it's classed as almost like a bike. So it literally depends on where you are. So last week I was in Venlo. Venlo is on the border between Germany and Holland. So in Holland, it's illegal. You go through basically through a fucking forest, out the other side, and the bike becomes legal, or the scooter becomes legal. So anyway, we digress. To get this up, so it's got a kickstand just there. To get this up, you just pull that up. And then there's a little slot thing in here. Tighten that up. Fucking hell, I can hardly do this with one hand. There we go. And then we are pretty much good to go. Now it does come with a seat. Now I was no way I was going to be seen riding a pissing scooter with a seat, so I just took it off. Controls wise, got brakes here. Now it's set up like a motorbike. So that does your front brake. That one does your back brake. There's the control panel. There's the key. I'm not even sure what this is for. I have to say, one thing on this, the manual is absolute shit. It's crap. Because I thought that was the on-off switch, but it's not. See, it says labelled on-off. That is for the lights. It's got little indicator things. Oh, fuck this, I'll just turn it on. Right, so to turn it on, you press the key, and then press that, and then it all lights up, like so. So that's how much power you've got. It's almost full. So I've been 29 kilometres on it. I've actually been more than 29 kilometres, because I've reset it a couple of times. So yeah, since the last reset, I've been 29 kilometres on it. And then, yeah, you've got, these are the lights. These do the, yeah, if you do the lights, you've also got a backlight, which I'm hoping you can just about see there. And then these things, these look cool. So if I just turn these on, they're the indicators, man. It looks shit hot. I love that. And I think at the front somewhere, there's a little shitty little indicator, which, yeah, no one can see, but it does look cool. Right, so there's the controls, and then you've got the horn. Fucking hell, that is loud. And then the throttle here. I'm not going to press that because it'll just go through the garage door. Now, I'm not sure who they designed these things for, but I guess they designed them for adjustability. This bracket allows you to raise the handlebars even more than you need to if you want to go like that high. I'm fairly tall, as everybody knows. And I've got them on the lowest one. So if you put them like really, really high, fuck me, you must be like a giant, 7 feet tall. Front suspension on this is a coilover. So it's, what do they call that? Trailing arm? Or leading arm in this case. Leading arm, coilover, nothing else in there really. Brake disc is over the other side. Now it is a bit of a fucker to pump this up. So I use my air compressor, so an industrial air compressor to pump this up. To be honest, if I were you, I'd take it to a car petrol station and just fill it up there, because to get a normal bike one on there can be a bit tricky. Yeah, it forever like flies off. I suppose if you wanted to take the tyre off and then remove it somewhere else, you could do that. Brake disc is on this side, so that has had a fair amount of use. It's cable operated with a spring return. Now, in terms of power, that's nowhere near as good as a hydraulic, but it's not really shifting much weight, so I haven't had any crashes yet on it. This is the charging port here. So you just charge through there. I mean, it hasn't caught fire yet, but you know, there's time yet. And then down here, this is where you obviously stand. This is like it's almost like a rubbery plastic. I'd say it's more like rubber. So the battery pack's under there, so it's quite low down. And then this is like a footrest on the back. So when I have pillion passengers, which is actually quite frequently, then yeah, they tend to put their foot on there, one foot there, and then the other person sits at the front and then rides. And this is also a trailing arm. I think that's coilover. Is it damped? So oh yeah. So inside is an oil piston to absorb vibration. Now the ride on here, I don't know if it's any good or not, because I've never had one before. Again, this is another one of those things where it's actually quite really difficult to pump the back tyre up. I mean, you can see there's hardly any clearance in there at all. So I literally just put a car one on there and then pump it up. I mean, it's not a particularly big tyre. Not even sure what the side load is. No, I don't know. And the motor is in the hub. So when you press your finger on the button, it just powers through there. I think the wire for that is this one here. So the speed control's through there. On the back, there's another brake disc, cable operated. I mean, again, I mean, you can see there's just nothing really. It's a very simple product. It's got the flashy bits, which are the lights and things, but in terms of the brakes and how it goes, it's just a motor with brakes and a throttle, speed controller. That's about it. There's not really much to go wrong with it. A piece of drive with a lamppost in the middle of it, so we'll just show you the takeoff, because the acceleration is really quite good. Right, it is that time of the show again. It is time for PowerPoint. Let's check the pen is working. Oh, the pen is working. Always working. It's on fire. Because E-Scooterage, the choice of Latina lady Spanish teachers. Yes, those of you who busted me last time and put 53 comments in the description referencing my fascination of Latina ladies. Well, the hairdresser, she actually reads the comments every now and again, so yes, I was very close to having the pen being disconnected, but never mind. Bye Hambini, aged 5. Right, the total damage of the bike. So let me just show you what the total damage of the bike is. 899 euros. So there is a power limit and a speed limit if you are in German spec. So this bike is, this scooter is German spec. It's 20 kilometers per hour. I mean, if you want, you can de-restrict it. But there is a 500-watt power limit, and I don't think that can be overridden. To be honest, I wouldn't go any faster than that anyway, but there you go. The ABE, which is like a sticker for the insurance. I'm not sure if you're supposed to stick this onto it or not, but no one's really complained. Yeah, well, I haven't been stopped yet. So as a non-resident, it was 132 euros for me. You can probably get that a bit cheaper if you are a yokel. And then I got it from MediaMarkt in Marsdorf. It is across the road from OB, but you can get it online now. OB-Markt Marsdorf, by the way. Right, this is the sign in when you go and buy it. So this is what MediaMarkt stick onto the bike before you get it. So this is the sort of, let's call it the safety card they put in. So maximum speed 20 k's. Let me just change the pen colour. Fuck's sake. What will go well? We'll go with green. Oh yes. Have you got to be more than 14 years old? Well, I've fucking screwed that one up. Yes. So it doesn't come with a helmet, but they recommend you wear one. Versicherungspflicht. Shit. Right, you need, and this is this ABE business, so you need the insurance certificate sticker, and you can use this on cycle paths. Shouldn't ride it on the pavement. And that's it, I think. And then at the bottom it says the sort of sales assistant type person will give you more information if you need to. But that's it. So if you buy one around, and I've you know, obviously I've been into the UK to get one as well, you don't get that level of detail on it. And that brings me on to my next point. Fuck's sake. Pen in colour red. Right. Actually, no, it's the third point. Oh, fuck's sake. Right. There's only like one little thing in here which I would really talk about, and that is the throttle. It's got 3 throttle maps, and I've kind of like labelled them as you would. So black is normal, and that's a fairly linear throttle. Orange, sport, and orange, eco. It should be green is eco, but because I can't spell, that bit should be orange. Sorry, green. But there you go, I've fucked that up, haven't I? Anyway, basically in orange, if you press a little bit of throttle, it like just gives you a complete jolt. It's quite, you know, therapeutic. The regen braking is quite severe. If you go downhill, you get some severe retardation. It's like really big retardation. If you go down some hills in Stuttgart, fucking hell, it like properly slows you down. And the tidbits, right, if you go and buy one, the spec, it may not be G2 Pro Max ETC, you know, check it. The manual is shite, and 50 kilometre range in the real world, I reckon, I mean, it's quoted as much higher than that. And if you live around Stuttgart, around there, I mean, it's fucking hilly. So I was staying right by the TV tower in the Forest Hotel around there, and it was like caning the battery every time I was getting up there. Yeah, so if you live around there, you'll be getting like 25 k's, or if you cane it, you'll be still getting about 25 k's. Now, I should point out, in the UK, now some of my viewers actually commented on this, because a lot of people who watch this channel go, oh, he's like doing something illegal, blah, blah, blah. Well, unbeknown to me, if you ride a bike in the UK in the dark, it has to have reflectors on the pedals, a front and back reflector, and I think it has to have wheel reflectors. But, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not enforced. So there you go. Now, when it is in the UK, police rarely enforce it. They go through these phases of like cracking down on people on scooters, And then all of a sudden, like, they just don't care. Now, I've seen all sorts of people on these things, like solicitors, lawyers, people who you probably wouldn't associate with it, and then people who you would associate with it, like Deliveroo riders and commuters, Just Eat, all that like line kind of people. There are some schemes around where people, like a third-party company, comes and supplies a load of these things, a bit like Boris bikes, into various cities. And I've seen quite a few pissed up people in York after a night out get onto them and then ride home, and they're absolutely fucking smashed. But yeah, there you go. Right, now in Germany, you get, well, I haven't been stopped. Have I been stopped? I don't think I have. I've been stopped many times on my bike, mainly because of the lights. They have to be, is it STVZO approved, in order for you to use them, and quite a few aren't, so they just come along to check that they are. That's why in Germany you've almost got one brand whose name I've completely forgotten, but make the shite cycle computers. I've forgotten what they're called. Anyway, and then anyway they check. A number of times in Frankfurt I've been pulled over, or Cologne where I've been pulled over. It's ridiculous. Now apparently, I'm not totally sure this is true, it's €50 fine if you don't have the insurance certificate, the insurance plaquette, the Sicherungsplakette. But quite a lot of people do this. There you go. Yeah, I've actually missed one point out, which was these things, these scooters, even though they're apparently illegal, are widely sold in Halfords, and none of the fuckers in Halfords tell you they are illegal. They're just quite more than happy to sell you it to get their commission and then fuck you off later on. But then again, you've got the police who, depending on where you live, don't enforce it. So there we go. Right, that brings us to the end of this video. If you did enjoy it, remember to smash that like button. If you didn't, go screw yourself. And as always, keep banging your hairdresser.